We did an interview with admin, or we're doing an interview with actually you're considered a virtual technologist, right?
Yes.
And you are Gabby. What's your last name, Gabby?
Carolina.
And then how long have you been a tech for?
We're about 6 years now.
Okay. And then you've been doing remote scanning for how long?
March. 6 months.
Okay. Leading into that position, what were some of your questions that you had have been answered since?
Safety, definitely. That was my first question on the interview.
Yeah, and good for you, because that's actually like everyone's first question, right? And so you've obviously been like reassured. Have you had any safety incidents since you first started? You said March. Okay. And at the time of this recording, we're in October, so about 7 months. Have you had any safety incidents? Okay. And would you say that's been, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but would you say that you find that you put a lot of trust into the tech aide?
That's your job also, like to build a relationship with a tech aide.
Yeah. And what opportunities do you have to build that relationship?
Every patient.
Yeah.
Every patient.
And so is it like the same tech aides that you're working with every day?
It's usually the same.
Okay. And so you've had that opportunity to build a rapport, and so you've crossed certain bridges already, but
Yes.
there's always new bridges, but you feel confident that when you come across a new bridge that you can put your trust in that tech aide?
I mean, there's some things that they know they cannot do, right? They cannot put a patient inside without us knowing or have our approval. But yeah, like they take the course so they know certain things, and if not, they ask us. And, we're confident we're doing a great job. Like it's 50-50.
Yeah, they trust you. It's a team effort, right?
Of course.
And so, first of all, like, what would say, like, do you have any kind of system in place to assure that you as the technologist, the scanning technologist, has seen the screening form before the tech aide actually puts the patient on the table and starts positioning?
Well, it depends on the site, but it's usually the front desk who scans the form. If not, we always, for every patient, we look for the form and the script.
Okay.
So if it's not on file, then we ask the tech aide to scan it for us, both things, and just to make sure, either or not.
Okay. And as technologists, we're all type A, right? And so I want 2 pills, not 1, kind of a thing. We're all controlling, set in our ways. Do they tailor to your specific request, or do they kind of just default to, more of a universal way of positioning patients?
I say they always do what their best. But if you have a request, if you're not seeing what you need to see, or you see something in the anatomy that you need, more signal, whatever, you always ask them, can you move our patient?
Scoot them over to ISIS center more. That's a big one, probably.
It happens, and
External rotation on the shoulder, these sort of things.
we make sure they have the proper position.
Okay. And how many patients do you usually scan at a time?
We scan one, we can do 2 easily
Okay.
at a time.
And then, you don't have to name numbers, but are you paid hourly? Are you paid per exam, per patient? How does that work?
Hourly.
Okay. Do you think that if you were paid per patient, per exam, that your pay would be the same? Does it usually work out to be? Or I guess you wouldn't know what the pay would be per.
Yeah, but I don't mean.
Do you think there would be an incentive to scan more patients if you were paid per patient?
I don't know, but it also depends on the schedules. A lot of patients, don't show or whatever, so I don't think it makes.
Do you feel like you would feel comfortable scanning 3 to 4 patients at a time?
Well, it was a little overwhelming the first time I scanned 2, but you get used to it easily. So I just have to try it with 3.
Yeah. I mean, to multitask is a learned trait, I would imagine, right? And so you're just becoming more efficient with what you're doing, the workflow itself, and with that becomes more confidence. Like you feel like you could take on maybe more patients. And these are like meat and potato exams, I would imagine. Like you could do 3 lumbars at the same time.
Yeah.
But throw in maybe a dynamic 2 or 3 abdomens at the same time might be different.
We've done with 2 abdomen or breast dynamic and you can do it. Because then, you set up everything first, like a knee, you set it up and then you just focus on the other one. And then just, you know, it can be done.
Okay. And then if you need to do a repeat, you're able to just communicate that to the tech aide?
Yeah, all the time. If the patient moves, the patient, whatever, we just tell the tech aide, whatever we need.
If the patient squeezes the ball, would you know it right away?
Maybe the mic is on and then we can hear it. If not, the tech aide's always there. So they just let us know.
Okay.
Just stop scared.
Are you typically doing just hand injection type exams, or are these dynamic? You mentioned abdomens, breast. So how do you determine when you would start that dynamic, the bolus?
Well, it depends. Sometimes the machine, like you can see on the software, if not, we have a camera that points to the power injector.
Okay. And you tell the tech aide when to press that button?
Yes.
Okay.
And we see it.
Okay. And then do you feel comfortable in refusing a patient if there's any kind of contraindications?
What?
Okay. Do you find yourself scanning devices often? Or
Not all
if
the
at all?
time, but it has happened, yeah.
Okay. And these are all like passive implants, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Okay. Stents and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so you take the knowledge that you've worked, with 6 years of experience, and you know that, for example, artificial heart valves are safe to 1.5. And so if the site is telling you we can scan all valves to say like a 3T, you're ready to kind of pump the brakes and maybe look into it a little bit more.
We always double check. We always double check. Always.
Now, I'm hearing this term timeout. When I first heard of this term timeout was in the OR environment, right? Because mistakes were being made, wrong legs were being amputated. I'm not sure why, but you do these timeouts, correct?
Yes.
And then do you lead them?
I mean, at the end of the day, you're the most, you're responsible for the scan. So, before every patient, you need to know the script, right or left, date of birth, last name, everything. So yeah, like if the tech aide is not, feeling lazy that day, you have to reinforce it.
So when there is a loss in connection, is there like a procedure on how to handle that?
Yeah, we can just go back and reconnect everything from the start to start over.
Okay, so this is something that's been thought about, and there's like policies put in place on how to handle it?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not really a loss of internet connection, but do you ever have like, say, a lag time?
Just a few seconds, maybe if it's too bad, then we have to talk to management and fix it. But it's usually just a few seconds and you get used to it. And it's not a big thing.
Okay.
It doesn't cause a delay on the scan.
And so me personally, when I picture that, I see it not being an issue when it comes to like maybe to putting in the correct TR. I see it being an issue as say like I wanted to scroll to slice 18.
When moving seconds, that's what takes That's what takes a long time. But like I said, if it's too bad, then we talk to management. But it's usually like not that bad, and you get used to it.
And it's able to get corrected once you do talk to management?
Yeah.
Okay.
It has to be corrected.
Okay. And what about like MIPing?
It hasn't been an issue to me.
With that lag time?
Yeah, no.
Okay. So if techs, because as of right now, when you hear of remote scanning, you picture, scanning in your pajamas on your couch at home, right? And I think eventually that's what it's going to come to. But, there's stepping stones to get there. And right now, they've got these scanning hubs, which is where you work at, right? But that said, if a technologist is still expected to get up, get dressed, get out of their pajamas, get in the car and commute to an offsite location, then what is the incentive to that technologist to be a remote scanning technologist?
Well, for me, it's just being in an office setting, being focused on one thing. The tech aide takes care of the patient care. Well, we also do some part of patient care, right? Because we do accept the right exam. but just focus on scanning. And I just love my job right now. I love remote scanning.
And, I have 2 kids at home too. I know you do. And I know especially like during COVID, but every day you fear what you're coming home with, right? And one of the things that I do first is I take off my scrubs. And a lot of times I'll jump in the shower before I even get my kids up home. But even in an office setting, you can still bring stuff home, but it's certainly not as scary, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, awesome. Do you have any questions for me at all? None? You can ask me anything.
You don't matter.
Bro, just kind of going through the questions that we have here. In the event that you do have a patient that's claustrophobic, like, do you kind of rely on the tech aid to communicate reassurance to that patient?
We have to. Yeah. If there's anything that the tech aid hasn't tried, we just tell the patient it's gonna take 15 minutes. That's we're gonna try our best to, get it done fast. And that's the work thing. What can we do?
Okay. What would you do if there was a reaction? Contrast reaction.
Well, I guess that's the tech aid that has to notice that the patient is squeezing the wall. Let the alert techs know they're on site. They can assess the reaction.
Okay. What if something was brought into zone 4 that was ferrous? Has that happened?
Not yet. Hasn't happened. And like I said, they take these courses. They're supposed to know what can be brought to some poor. So and we always talk to them to make sure they're changed. Everything we say, you can't imagine, just because we're not there. So they're our eyes.
So every patient is changed regardless of the exam?
Depends on the site also.
Okay. And is that something that you can request? If it is a site that doesn't typically do that? Okay.
Can I speak to something real quick? I'm just amazed that you guys have done over 8,500 remote MRI scans and haven't had a single incident. And there's places where the tech is on site and they can't do 300 scans without having an incident. So there's power to that.
Well, and just not that there's no incident, but also there's no callbacks.
Right.
We're all like that.
Can you look into the camera and say that?
It's just amazing. It really is.
But I guess it's also part of that, like being focused on scanning.
Just down there, right? You don't have to worry about all these other, all this other stuff that's kind of going on.
Run into the front desk or dealing with the next patient.
And then usually how many screens do you have in front of you?
4 right now. Like one schedule or software where we connect to the sites, and then 2 for the sites.
Do you feel like you have appropriate resources if there was maybe a hiccup of some sort or a technical issue that you came across? Like, do you feel like you can rely on your coworkers to kind of help walk you through that?
Totally. We have a great team. I'm so happy. We have a great team.
Well, we met one of your coworkers today. She's been scanning for 30 plus years, right? So that's just years and years and years of knowledge. So that's a great resource to have.
David at the hub, right?
Yeah. And then you feel like you're given opportunity, or would you be able to, how does that work if you just had to use the bathroom real quick?
We try to go when we have gaps in the schedule, but if we're scanning too and it's hard to do that, we can ask, just set the study and then have our coworkers.
So it's no different than if you're on site scanning.
Yeah.
Okay. Reggie takes a lot of bathroom breaks, so that was mostly for his benefit. I think that's really the majority of the questions. I guess we always ask everybody, like, you've been doing MRI for 6 years, right? Did you do X-ray before that? Or
No.
CT?
No, straight to
you
you.
just jumped right into it. Look at you. Not everybody needs stepping stones. I did. But what's been maybe the most satisfying or rewarding, fulfilling moment in your healthcare career?
that's something that I'm lacking right now. But like having the patience, like notice that you care what you're doing, that's what's more rewarding to me.
Yeah. Do you feel like you miss that one on that actual like direct patient care?
Sometimes I do miss it, and I also miss the noise of machines.
You miss it.
Well, we can find a YouTube channel for that. You could play it, but I think that's something I wish for sure miss. It's one of the most enjoyable parts of my exam or job is when you make that one-on-one connection. And like when I think about my most fulfilling moment in my career, it's when you've made that connection with the patient, and maybe you talked them down off the ledge when they were thinking about tapping out. Okay, awesome. Appreciate what you're doing. Thank you for taking the time, Gabby. You're awesome.
Thank you.
I know this is kind of nervous having us come in here and just look over your shoulders, but you guys have been very accommodating, and I've learned a lot from you guys. So thank you for that.
Thank you, guys.
Do you want to just look at the camera and say Zone 3 podcast, we're out? Don't be nervous.
Thank you, podcast, we're out.
Sorry.